Ahoy, me fellow YouTube writers. We got some cool stuff happening today. Oh yeah, by the way, welcome to Brupeg. What I really want to get into, I'm a little bit excited, a kick-ass stainless vent. So this is a hidden door aid box that we put on the side of our boat, and it ventilates the rooms below the waterline, and it allows bucket loads of water to get smashed into this vent, and only air gets through. We've made one of these before. See that little square right below the windows on the wheelhouse there? That's the one that we've built on the other side, and they work an absolute treat.
With the kitchen build coming up, we've got to get another vent like this on the other side of the boat. We're going to have a vent on each side that goes down into the accommodation below, pulls air in, and in the last episode you saw the fan that pulls it out, so there's flow going through the downstairs area. But because we're going to be stripping down the kitchen, this is the opportunity to put that in. So this is what we're building today. At least one of two jobs.
They sit inside the wall, so the wall itself is 50mm thick, the ribs and so on the wall are 50mm thick, and they're within that confine. They're actually 40mm thick because we have to allow some air to pass through. One of the things that we like to do is insulate over top of them, so we've got no area where cold air can get into the inside of the boat easily without us being able to control it. That's why we stick to that 50mm max dimension. One of the things about these vents that I really like is they're flush, so when you're walking up and down the side of the boat, there's absolutely nothing to catch on. They're just a real beautiful design. Something we came up with years ago, probably 4 years ago, and we built one probably 2 or 3 years ago now, a while ago. We didn't have a TIG back then, so we migged everything up. Today we've got the TIG. This is the power of Brupeg's community. So maybe a month ago, we didn't have any cutters for our mag drill. That was donated, by the way. And within probably a week, 90% of this little collection that I've just knocked up here was delivered to us. People, through their generosity, figured out they have cutters in their shed that they didn't need or whatever it was. Now Brupeg has a decent set of cutters. So this is one of the reasons why Brupeg's possible, is the generosity of our viewers, our patrons, that sort of thing. That cash is always tight for us in terms of what we can financially afford. It's a big boat, it's a big job, and it's through this sort of generosity that we're able to actually build this boat and get it as looking as awesome as it's going to be. And that's why we love giving back and being able to get you guys on board. You've supported us, we absolutely want to give you the ability to get on this boat. Jess pointed out that it's probably best if I explain the design that's in my head, because apparently you guys can't see in it. Now that I've got secret blueprints out of my head, that is what we're building. Panel 1, this guy here, has like a cutout with an inner panel in the centre. Looks a bit confusing, but it'll make sense soon. This one here is the one that does most of the work. So this is the vent. This is the panel that stops the water sort of being able to get in. And this one here is kind of like a deflector panel. It jams the water down into the bottom of this one, and this one does the work. So this front face here is this panel here. So it's panel number 1. And then we've got this middle part is a pretty simple piece. This is panel number 3. And then the back part here, this is the most complex part. That's panel number 2. And you can sort of see you've got the middle section here, then you've got 2 sides and a bottom, and they will get folded up to form a particular shape. So the air can come in through the top here. And then there's another entry point in the bottom here. And it basically forces the air to go down to this bottom point. You've got a little drain hole just down the bottom so that no water eventually accumulates. But the air has to do quite a path down, up, and then back down again. And that allows the airflow to sort of flow there, but the water isn't powerful enough to move through that area. .350 wide, 320 by 50s.
It's been so long since I had time to think about it. Some say it's wrong to spend all your time in one moment of joy.
We don't have a sheet metal bender. We need to bend a bunch of these panels. So a trick that we use when Cam at Bluestream isn't available, because he likes weekends for some reason, is we'll just nip it with our 1mm disc on the grinder. We don't cut all the way through, and that allows us to bend it, but it gives it a weak spot, so when it bends it's going to give you a nice crisp line. So this is how we bend things when we don't have access to a folder. So we give it a little nick with our grinder that you just saw, and we clamp it between two pretty sturdy pieces of steel, just so that it's not going to move anywhere. It's dimensionally stable, the vise and obviously a couple of clamps really holding it down. And you can see that cut, it doesn't go all the way through, it's about maybe 3/4 of the way through, just enough to essentially make it crease when we bend this. Currently we only have access to the Armstrong bending method. Yeah.
Cause when you're beside me, I know we make it past the storm. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
That's what you're left with. Beautiful, crisp, lovely line. That side there, you've got a divot. So you, like I say, you can either weld that up or you can leave it. It's entirely up to you, depending on what you're doing with the piece of work.
Dan's been welding up some new cheeks for Trev's new bow roller design.
Oh, it's on the wrong side. Swap the boat round. Oh, right.
I don't think that weld's coming off.
Can you drop the heat slightly, go to 180?
180?
Yeah, just for this weld.
It's too hot, eh? Bloody hell, you're pretty good at that.
Fine and heat. See how it's melting. We need to straighten it out for straightness, but it'll do. Hey Trev, can I have a confirmation on this as well? Right.
So that's what you're aiming for?
Better. See how the heat marks are even?
Yeah.
Like it's slightly hotter there than it is there.
It sits like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You won't see that, will you?
No, you'll see the outside that one there.
It's beautiful.
Oh, so what I need to do with this piece is nick down here and nick along there. I'm going to fold those up 90 degrees, or fold this up 45 degrees, and then these corners I'll leave till last, but these corners will be trimmed to suit. Once we've got our bend and everything, we'll trim them to suit. And then what we have to do is weld up the corners so there's no leaks there, and then we'll also probably go through and weld up the nicks that we've made in the side. So I'll show you this other piece of steel. Here's one that we bent earlier. What we're going to do is lay a piece of rod just down like that, and then we'll go over with the TIG gun and we'll just zigzag back and forth all the way along, and that's going to blend that in and fill that gap back up.
I was never the one to write up a song for just anyone. I was always the one to find myself lost in all conversations. Cause I've always been told that things will unfold if you keep on waiting. But then you came along and proved me wrong. I was so mistaken. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make them better. Yeah, you're making me wanna try forever. And I feel so free, oh my sweet baby. I was never the one to give up the ghost. No, I was so stuck. I kept on playing my part, wanted to give it cause nothing was changing. But with you it's so clear, and now that you're here I see colors in every spectrum. Guess I finally learned my lesson. Cause you glue all the pieces back together. Yeah, you take all my wrongs and make making me wanna try forever, and I feel so.
Right, so it's not the prettiest weld in the world. I'm not the best when it comes to adding filler rod, but it's not going to leak. It's certainly going to plug up any gaps. It's pretty warm at the moment, so we'll let that cool down and we'll see what we've got to work with. We're halfway there to our magical door aid box. Right, now that it's cold, we're going to go through and you can sort of see there's a bit of a lip going on here. We have to take the whole thing down to this level here. So we'll do a measurement from the bench down to here and then scribe a mark right the way around and trim it down to that number. Cheers. Yeah, thank you. Right, so this plate of stainless is going to be the outside, this is, well, the inside face of the outside wall. So what I need to do is round off these corners here. I'm going to use the mag drill to do that, but I'm going to knock a 5mm hole so that we've got a centering point for our mag drill. We're then going to cut this square out and this outer square out using our 1mm cut-off discs. So we end up with a nice little square to sit in the middle, and we'll radius off these corners so it all looks lovely. So let's get into it, drill some holes. I realised that there's only so long you can go building a boat before you start doing renovations. Let me show you the mezzanine floor of the workbench. So mag drill sits on the workbench, but I can't get anything under it. So I built me a little mezzanine floor. Slab of 20mm mild steel on a piece of 1/2 inch thick mild steel, and I've welded the whole thing together. And that allows me to put the mag drill down that hole, but at the same time slide work around and underneath it and do all sorts of stuff like that. So yeah, that'll make things a bit easier. Happy with that. A trick I've learned, it's best to take the fancy plastic off before you melt it on there with a welder so tight that it would survive a nuclear war. You'll never guess how I know to do that. Right, basic shape. This is what the outside looks like. So you got this big hole. We need to put this piece of square in the middle. Now we need some sort of thing to hold this, like a standoff. I mean, there must be a word. Oh, B. Ah, I can't remember. We'll figure it out. Huzzah! mean, that's straight. While this has been happening, Trev has rebuilt the drawers. Ooh, new sliders. These are going into the engine room. Look, click, click. Oh, locky, locky, locky. Push, push, unlock. And then we're going to get new doodackies like this, whatever they're called. Set of them as a backup to the locks that are on the sliders, because I don't know how strong the slider ones will be. We're going to mount those underneath the stainless shelf that's on the battery side of the main engine room, and then this will be like a spare shelf that we can use for whatever else. That was an awesome idea. Jess came up with that. I was going to do some sort of fantastic arrangement that was going to lose storage space, and Jess actually figured out how to double what we can already do. So over the back, new piece cut out. I'll deal with that in the morning. Welded in here. So we're ready to go for the morning. We'll sit down in the morning for probably 45 minutes, I guess, when there's no wind around. We'll just go through and start welding this up. We've got to go through and clean up the edges, so you can sort of see there's gaps where we have to run a bead along there, along this side here, and then one right down in the actual vent itself down here. On this side we need to finish off the little square that goes in the middle, need to round the corners off and so on, use the bracket that we've done. We'll get that fitting in there nicely, and then cut a hole in the side of the boat, and that's ready to weld in.
Here she comes like the rays of the sun, she shines. For 10 out of 10, Lord, she's no less than a dime. Sets my soul on fire and helps me unwind, yeah. The right kind of woman to help me feel fine. And I've been waiting for most of my life to have this love come and bury my strife and carry on. And carry on. She got the soul of a warrior, but a tender heart, yeah.
Right, there's one we prepared earlier. So, cut these out and we'll weld it on there. I'm always a big fan of a 135 from the Cobalt region of France, but if your sommelier can't get you one of those, then try one of these. It's a 45 8mm centering drill. It's a really nice little drop. Look at this, just goes down lovely. No bad aftertaste. Right, so let's do a quick measure up. 37. 42. 42. Yeah, exactly where we want it.
She's the right kind of woman to help me feel fine. 'Cause I've been waiting for most of my life.
Let that cool down a bit.
Carry on.
Yeah, that should be alright. In fact, I don't even reckon we need to grind those. One dead drill bit. It's alright. Thought that might happen. Put the other end in. Lovely. Now, these stop masses of water going in them, this whole system. However, rain and whatever will accumulate. I don't want it sitting down the bottom. I've got to give it an escape path. So I put these two little 10mm holes in the bottom, and that works a treat. Right, with that vent done for now, we just about ready to start working on our kitchen. So the reason we wanted to get that vent done is so that we've got as much stuff built prior to ripping the kitchen apart. Next step, we need to start pulling things out of the boat.